Welcome to Top 30. I'm Richard Bacon.
And I'm Kristen Smith, and here are your top 30 stories in 30 minutes.
According to the CDC, this year's flu season is the worst since the swine flu epidemic in 2009. And public health experts warn one of the reasons the virus has spread so easily is because of a lack of paid sick days in the United States of America. The US government does not guarantee a single day of paid sick leave, meaning it's up to states and individual employers to set their own policies. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 28% of civilian workers, or about 45 million people, don't have access to paid sick leave. This leaves people with a difficult decision to make: either stay home and lose a day's wages, or go to work and potentially infect other people. The CDC's recommendations are clear. If you have the flu, you should stay at home until at least 24 hours after your fever breaks. But if it means forgoing pay for a few days, many people would rather go to work and take their chances.
Figure skating is one of the most expensive sports in the Winter Olympics, with skaters and their families often shelling out tens of thousands of dollars each year to stay competitive. The price tag for a private coach ranges from $65 to $120 per hour, and elite skaters generally train 6 days a week for several hours every day. Choreography fees for routines can run between $1,500 and $5,000, and skaters often need a new program every year. Hand-sewn costumes can get pretty pricey too, with some advanced skaters paying up to $10,000 for just one outfit. Custom skates cost between $800 and $1,000 for the boot. The blades cost an additional $1,000. And then there are the incidentals: travel to competitions, physical therapy, and ballet and acting lessons to supplement their skating. So every time you see a skater on the ice, know there's an entire family who sacrifices every day to help get them there.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, I'm hearing there is outrage about a Snapchat update.
That's right, Richard. Snapchat users are not happy about the app's redesign. There's a petition on change.org calling for Snapchat to go back to the way it was before the update. Its App Store ratings are down, too. The new look was meant to simplify the Snapchat experience, but it appears to have had the opposite effect. Sam's Club will consolidate its membership structure for customers by offering 2 membership options. The warehouse chain will also add free shipping and plans to open more e-commerce warehouses this year. The company is undergoing some major changes as it looks to take on its rivals like Costco. Chipotle has a new boss. The company snatched Taco Bell's Brian Niccol, who's known for bringing Doritos Locos Tacos and mobile ordering to the chain.
And Nicole, will the new boss be able to turn this struggling company around?
That is the hope. Chipotle has struggled with sales through several health scares that made hundreds of U.S. customers sick. Niccol is known for his feisty marketing tactics and also unusual food creations, such as the nacho fries, and that excites the customers.
Well, we will see if he brings his expertise to Chipotle. Nicole Pedalides on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Thank you. Kristen, you have a story about an airplane and an emergency landing.
Yeah, Richard, terrified passengers watched in horror as an engine cover flew off during their United Airlines flight from San Francisco to Honolulu. As the engine cover flapped in the wind, the plane shook and rattled. Thankfully, pilots were able to make a safe emergency landing, and authorities are investigating. And producer Ryan Murphy has inked a 5-year deal with Netflix that could net him as much as $300 million. Murphy is known for hit shows like Glee, Nip Tuck, American Horror Story, and American Crime Story. He'll produce new series and films exclusively for Netflix when his current contract is up in July. And meet Flynn, the fluffy Bichon Frise that won Best in Show at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. There were 2,882 dogs entered in what is touted as America's second oldest sporting event after the Kentucky Derby. This is only the second time a Bichon Frise has won the competition.
2 Baltimore police detectives were found guilty by a federal judge for racketeering, conspiracy, and robbery in what is being called one of the biggest police corruption scandals in Baltimore's history. 48-year-old Daniel T. Hersel and 31-year-old Marcus R. Taylor used their badges to steal large sums of money from the people, the very people they were sworn to protect, and they now face up to 60 years in prison. And here's the thing, these are the first two convicted. Many other police have either admitted wrongdoing or are facing wrongdoing charges. Like, it's big.
It's crazy. Prosecutors say they handcuffed a guy, stole $200,000 from his safe, pocketed $100,000 of it, and then filmed a video of, like, look, we discovered $100,000, and then showed that video was shown to jurors.
There is no bigger betrayal of public trust than when a cop turns to robber.
Yeah.
It is a far more serious offence than anyone else stealing something. They are the people
really
sworn to protect you from the people they became. Thousands of convictions could now be in danger because these policemen who previously investigated crimes have turned out to be corrupt.
Yeah, and that is so sad because it really does have that ripple effect. I think one of the most powerful points was when the verdict was read. And, you know, most, if not all of the victims were black men. And the jury sent a message. The jury was made up of mostly white women. And what they did, they had one young black man on the jury, and they had that man read the verdict. The underlying message, it was very powerful, was that this kind of behavior will not be tolerated anymore.
I feel a bit like The Wire only scratched the surface of what's going on.
Hey, speaking of scandalous, the rules of Canesville Elementary School's Valentine's Day dance has parents outraged. Listen to this.
Outraged.
Girls were told they can't say no if a boy asks them to dance. Girls are being taught they must say yes when asked to dance. The boys are being taught that the girls cannot say no. These are 6th graders. What kind of messages are we sending to our children?
I think when you look at the nuance of this story, the idea is that, you know, you don't say no, but no one is actually being forced to dance if they don't want to.
The dance is optional, yes, but who doesn't want to dance in 6th grade? Everyone should be able to go to the dance with whomever they want. And I think even worse is that parents weren't told about this requirement, and that just makes my blood boil because don't let me find out about something my son has to do, you know? Alrighty, how about this story? A graphics mix-up confusing Pyeongchang, South Korea, and P.F. Chang's, the spot with the good lettuce wraps, got a local Chicago news station in hot water. The mistake was blamed on a satirical story being done by a local sports reporter asking viewers to come up with their own Olympic sports. Now, you and I have both worked in local news, and you know sometimes you're doing a million things, and you're rushing around, and you're trying to get things right. This was hilarious, the fact that this aired on TV.
But also, you are right to say they do good lettuce wraps.
They're delicious.
Kristen, there I was, innocently watching WLS Channel 7, and up comes a graphic saying P.F. Chang 2018, and I got excited because I thought it was going to be a news item about P.F. Chang's plans for 2018. You know, any new size, any new noodle ranges they were going to introduce, and I was disappointed. It was about the Olympics.
I don't know, what are they doing for 2018?
I mean, now we'll never know. We'll be back in a minute. A personal lawyer for the president says he gave $130,000 of his own money to an adult film star who's claimed to have had an affair with Donald Trump. Michael Cohen says the money didn't come from the president's business or campaign funds, but, and here's the thing, he won't say why he made the payment. What's interesting about this story is that the reason he's put out this statement is a watchdog group asked a question about the money, saying, could it be considered a campaign finance contribution? Because if so, that could help the president.
Right. And now that he's come out saying, you know, I cut her a check for $130,000, it's like, hey, it's legal. It's perfectly legal. Nothing illegal happened. Now we can move on.
It's legal just to give someone some money.
But the thing is, we want to know why.
There's more questions than that.
Right.
I mean, and one of the key questions, so he's put out a very tight statement. He's certainly not going to submit himself to an interview. But, for example, so did Donald Trump, as candidate, know that you had made this payment?
Yeah.
For example.
And this does have quite a backstory as well. In 2011, Stormy Daniels told 2 publications, In Touch magazine and TheDirty.com, that she had an affair with the president.
No, look, there's a telling quote from the lawyer where he says, I will always protect Mr. Trump. So Michael Cohen admits he made a payment to Stormy Daniels, but won't say why. She, meanwhile, is accused of having an affair with Donald Trump that he denies. So that's that cleared up.
Indeed. Okay, so here's a crazy story. A woman named Michelle Myers went to sleep with a headache and woke up with a British accent. She's originally from Oklahoma. She's never been out of the country. Some of her symptoms are pretty serious. They're usually associated with a brain injury or a stroke. Now, the story might be crazy, but Michelle isn't. She was actually diagnosed with something called foreign accent syndrome. And Richard, this is very, very rare. Only 60 people since 1907 have been diagnosed with this. And it's happened to this woman 2 times before with an Irish accent and an Australian accent.
Has she really? Okay. What is interesting about it, though, is that the foreign accent syndrome makes more sense when you think about the minute changes that characterize what we perceive to be an accent.
Yeah.
You know, that's fascinating.
Right. You know, and these symptoms come. I think what's really scary, what was scary for this woman is she woke up and she had this accent and people around her were laughing because it was kind of funny, but then she started to panic.
I'll bet. Yeah.
And then everyone around her realized it was something more serious.
There was a Norwegian during the Second World War who woke up with a German accent, and Germany was the enemy, and it caused her some problems.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Something similar happened to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm actually from Iowa.
No. Okay, we'll get to the bottom of this. In the meantime, Top 30, we'll be right back. In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 46 Charlotte, Kimberly Wren, a math teacher at Cuthbertson High School, has made it her mission to make math fun. And it looks like her efforts are paying off. Mrs. Wren has some of the highest test scores in the state, and her students love her.
I want my students to leave my classroom knowing that there's someone in this building that cares about them. And then secondly, I just want them to know that they improved. I want them to learn mathematics.
In our second story from Fox 5 New York, over 1,000 middle schoolers had the opportunity to see the hit Broadway show Dear Evan Hansen, thanks to a nonprofit that introduces kids to live theater. Inside Broadway is an education program that brings kids to Broadway productions. The goal, to show kids potential careers both on stage and behind the scenes. They get to see how the lighting works, how the set rolls in, and of course, live performances from the cast. And judging by the kids' reactions, they loved every second. In our final story from Fox 35 Orlando, Building Homes for Heroes, in partnership with JPMorgan Chase, gifted a deserving veteran a mortgage-free home. U.S. Army Captain Robert Setliff has served over 2 decades in the military. He returned with a brain injury and severe PTSD, but his new home has given him new hope.
A lot of veterans come back feeling like they've lost something, and this helps restore that and makes them feel like they have a home.
Now Robert has more than a peaceful place to live. He has a fresh start.
Uber is attempting to make its rides safer. The company will make drivers take a break for 6 hours in an effort to reduce drowsy driving. Driving while fatigued is actually blamed for up to 6,000 fatal crashes a year. That according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. After 10 hours of driving without a 6-hour break, drivers will receive a warning in the app. After 12 hours behind the wheel, the app will automatically go offline altogether. Drivers will be unable to pick up another fare for 6 hours. The update uses GPS to detect if a car is moving. Waiting at stoplights will count toward the time limit. Longer periods without moving, such as waiting for fares at an airport, will not. Uber has previously drawn criticism after media reports that drivers in New York were working well over 12 hours to support themselves. The update will be rolled out nationwide over the next 2 weeks.
Time now for this week's Page 6 Fix. Let's check in with Elizabeth Wagmeister. Elizabeth, what are you guys working on today?
Well, Kristen, we've got lots of couple news to report. First up, she ain't shy. Amy Schumer posted a pic of her and her rumored boyfriend. Chef Chris Fisher caught in a passionate lip lock inside a photo booth at Ellen DeGeneres' star-studded 60th birthday party. Now, sorry ladies, but Idris Elba is officially off the market. His girlfriend Sabrina got an early Valentine's Day surprise when her leading man got down on one knee and proposed to her in front of a crowd at the screening for his new film, Yardie. Congrats, guys. And finally, after having $165,000 in jewelry stolen at their wedding, John Stamos and his wife Caitlin McHugh were spotted enjoying their honeymoon at the happiest place on earth. Have mercy. Disney World holds a special place in their hearts because that's where he proposed to her. And that's this week's Page 6 Fix. See you next time.
Well, you know how Hollywood can be, but I'm hoping they all live happily ever after. Thanks, Elizabeth. For more news and gossip, watch Page 6 TV weekdays. Check your local listings. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Juju SmithSchuster just finished his first season in the NFL with more than 900 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. So you may think his offseason includes traveling, training, or maybe just relaxing. Well, if you ask his mom, it should also include chores around the house.
I'm an NFL player. I can't be brooming it and sweeping this trash.
You ain't go put broom up over there. Hurry up.
Come on, Mom. I'm not supposed to be doing this.
SmithSchuster videotaped that hilarious exchange with his mother and tweeted it with the caption, "Mom putting me in my place, making me broom around the house." Guess no matter who you are, mom's house rules still come first.
Canada is looking to launch a new border security app that could eventually be used worldwide. A new pilot program called the Known Traveler Digital Identity will allow people to cross the border using their mobile phone with a digital profile containing their personal information. It's a joint venture between the governments in Canada and the Netherlands and will be tested on travelers between the two countries by 2020. Information in the traveler's digital profile will include things like bank statements, university education, and vaccination records. The pilot program also hopes to use retina and facial recognition to speed up border crossings. Global management service Accenture will be used to control the data, ensuring its protection and privacy. North Korea sent only 22 athletes to the Olympics in Pyeongchang, but they sent 230 cheerleaders along with them. That works out to nearly 10 cheerleaders per athlete. They've been dubbed the Army of Beauties, and there are strict requirements to make the cut. You must be female, at least 5 feet 3 inches tall, in your late teens or early 20s, from a good family background, and of course, be deemed attractive by the state. And you can't miss the squad in their matching red outfits on television. They can be seen cheering on the unified Korea team with one of their chants roughly translating to, "Go for it, our players, go for it." Through the Winter Olympics, North Korea were presented with an opportunity to look a bit more normal, an opportunity they haven't taken.
What's your favorite song, and how old were you when it came out? Jason Matheson, host of The Jason Show on Fox 9 in Minneapolis, says these two things may be linked. Jason?
Hey, Kristen. Now, usually when I hear about a study, I'm a little skeptical because some of them are rather silly. But this one was pretty fascinating from the New York Times. It analyzed Spotify, and it found that our musical tastes are basically kind of ingrained into us by ages 14 for men and 13 for women. So for me, I will proudly admit that at 14, it was 1988, and my favorite song, are you ready, Kristen? Locomotion by Kylie Minogue. Had the video, had the cassette single, we called them singles, and I could even do the choreography, which I will not do right now. You could read more about this in the New York Times. Locomotion, Kristen.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. That is a great song, and I am dying to see that choreography. Thanks, Jason. A Massachusetts father found an unlikely hero when a homeless man saved his life. While walking to catch a ferry to meet his wife in Nantucket, George Dakin suffered a massive heart attack. He collapsed on the sidewalk in front of a transitional housing unit for the homeless, and Austin Davis immediately ran to help him. Davis said, "I thought he was gone." Along with 2 staff members at the home, they performed CPR until paramedics arrived. Although he flatlined for a staggering 28 minutes, Dakin made it and is alive today thanks to Davis. He said, "They shocked me 4 times and I still flatlined." Dakin and his family are so grateful for Davis's quick-thinking actions, they've managed to secure him a full-time job and even set up a GoFundMe page that has raised enough money to buy Davis a car. It's incredible to note, by the way, that Davis has performed CPR 4 times on people, each time saving their life.
New research on toddler drinks says labels are misleading parents when it comes to nutrition and health benefits. According to a study in the Journal of Preventative Medicine, drinks aimed at children 9 to 36 months transitioning from breast milk or formula are not recommended by medical experts and provide no advantage. Researchers argue that labels confuse parents into thinking they're infant formulas. In a press release, the study advised the FDA provide guidance or proposed regulations to ensure the appropriate labeling of toddler drinks. Many toddler drinks are made from powdered milk, corn syrup solids or other sweeteners, and vegetable oil. They also contain more sodium and less protein than cow's milk. Manufacturers maintain the drinks are safe, and the president of the Infant Nutrition Council of America says milk-based toddler drinks can contribute significantly to nutritional intake of older infants and young children. Like with anything, it is very important to pay attention to the labels, especially when it involves your children. Kristen, what is coming up on the next show?
Well, Richard, we're talking about a new kind of drug. Doctors think a new antibiotic could save lives, but you'll never guess where it comes from. Plus, the science of an Olympic athlete's diet takes calorie counting to a whole new level. And when a group of seniors was snowed in, they got a little help from the internet. Top 30 also covers more of the day's stories live on Facebook every day at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. See you next time on Top 30.